Good morning and welcome to the John DeVito Show. It's Friday. We did it. We did it. We made it. It's been another long week. But today we are into October as well. So can you believe it? The month of September is in the rearview mirror. And here we are in October. So unbelievable. Before we know it up here in New England, that white stuff is going to start to fall. So I hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone had a great week. Hope everyone has great plans for the weekend. We're going to have a short, fun show today. So I'm looking forward to getting into it and talking about some funny news stories, some breaking news, and then going to a list, hopefully if we have time, of the 30 best horror movies of all time. That's going to get us ready for October. So let's get this thing going. And we're going to get started in a couple of minutes. So let's go. It's Friday, everybody. Gotta love the applause. Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the John DeVito Show. It is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. I guess that's where that comes from, right? The whole TGIF, restaurants and chains. Think how many people said TGIF over the years, and man, they're right. There's nothing better than a Friday. A Friday is literally my favorite day of the week. I mean, it is just the last day of the week. You got the whole weekend in front of you. You know, Sunday is kind of like tainted by Monday. You know, Sunday is that day where you try not to let it ruin your mood, but you know that the next day you have to go to work. So Sunday kind of sucks. Saturday's good, but Friday, I mean, you've got everything in front of you. It's like being 18 years old with your whole future in front of you. The future is bright. You can achieve anything. That's what Friday feels like to me. So congratulates everybody. We did it again. We made it to Friday. We have the weekend upon us, and it should be fun. Listen, I want to share a couple personal things before I get into the meat of the show. Great news. My son, Ethan, who I know some of you follow, is a freshman in high school, and he's a pretty talented baseball player. So my son, Ethan, got invited to go to Boston College for a mini camp where he's going to go and work with all the Boston College coaches. And he is also at that point going to get to tour the campus after his visit and then go to a BC baseball game for fall ball. So he's pretty excited. So Ethan's dream is to play in college and hopefully in the major league someday. So we're hoping we can help him, achieve that dream. So we're very proud of him, and everything else is going well on the home front here. You know, my oldest son, Matt's in college. He's at a community college and he's doing pretty well. So we're very proud of him. You know, Caitlin's a junior, and she's doing homeschooling, and in typical Caitlin fashion, she has a 98 average in her classes right now. Just brilliant. So much smarter than her dad is. Hey, rounding third, welcome to the show. UNZ, welcome to the show. Hey, listen, I'm going to do a show with no calls today because I have a dentist appointment I have to get to. So I'm just going to be talking today and responding to the chat. And rounding third, you just missed it. I was talking about my son, Ethan. He's my third out of four kids. He's 15, and he just got invited to visit Boston College for baseball. So we're super, super proud of Ethan. He had a showcase last weekend where he did really well, and I was emailing back and forth with the Boston College head baseball coach yesterday. So Ethan, next Saturday, is going to be on the campus of Boston College for a mini camp with the head coach of BC and for with all the other coaches. And then after that, we get a tour of the Boston College campus. And after that, we get to go to a BC St. John's baseball game for fall ball. So we're really excited for him. It's a great thing for Ethan. Now, hopefully, though, if they want him to play, they're going to be able to offer some money because Boston College costs literally, this is not a joke, $85,000 a year. So $85,000 a year at Boston College. And that, I don't know how anyone can afford that. So we're hoping that he's good enough to maybe get some money if he goes there. So anyway, listen, we're going to have a light show today. No phone calls today because I have to get to a dentist appointment with my daughter. We're going to have Caitlin on again very soon. She's going to be coming on probably in the next couple of days to just do a show so you can all catch up with her. We're going to read some news stories today, go through some funny stories. And as I talked about earlier, I'm kind of excited. It's Friday, right? My favorite day of the week. And it's October 1st. So I'm sure the old man touched on this today. But October 1st, we get fall in full swing now. People up here in New England, the women have their Ugg boots out and they are drinking their pumpkin spice lattes on a regular basis. And I saw a meme, I think it was on Instagram, maybe yesterday or the day before, and it showed like a bunch of women all wearing like their knee-high leather boots, wearing their jeans, wearing their, fall outfits, all with pumpkin spice lattes in their hand. And the meme, I think the comment was, "This is where pumpkin spice lattes go to die." And I literally was laughing out loud. I thought that was hilarious. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all week. And I don't know if any of you guys follow the guy on Instagram. There's a guy on Instagram that does just dad jokes. He does the stupidest dad jokes. I think his name is like Rambo or something like that. So he'll tell like the stupidest joke, and then afterwards he follows it with like a ridiculous laugh. So my kids always say I'm kind of like the dad joke guy where I'm just not funny. So Victor, hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to everybody coming in. I'm glad you all were able to join me today. I'm not sure if all of you are following the Brian Landry, Gabby Petito deal, but I'm still kind of watching that, and it just drives me crazy. You know, I see that, again, this poor young woman that was cut down in the prime of her life or even before the prime of her life. And this Brian Laundrie, man, he escaped. He escaped with the help of his family, obviously. And it's just disgusting that the family helped this kid get away. And I get why they did. I mean, I have 4 kids, and if one of my children did something horrible, I certainly would not want to see them go to jail. But if one of my kids ended someone else's life also, you know, that would be something where, I mean, you kind of have to do the right thing and have your kid turn themselves in. I mean, if your kid ended someone's life, I mean, man, step up as a parent and have your child turn himself in, have him, you know, be brought to justice. I mean, it's just kind of crazy. So I'm hoping again for Gabby Petito's family that Brian Laundrie turns himself in or they catch him. Did you see all the dog, the bounty hunter is now chasing him down? I didn't even know that guy was still alive. I watched his show a couple times back in the day where he's out like hunting people, you know, criminals and things like that. So he's hot on the guy's trail and he's down there hunting for Brian Laundrie. I mean, this guy, man, he doesn't have a prayer. He's going to get caught. And when he does, I mean, what can you say, Brian? I mean, the bottom line is, you know, your girlfriend disappeared, or your fiance, she disappeared. She was found dead. And what did you do? Did you stay around to help find her? Did you stay around and answer questions to the authorities? Nah, you hightailed it home. You went to see your parents, and then you went on the run. I mean, you know, is there any doubt that this guy was the person that actually perpetrated the crime? You know, in my opinion, no. So anyway, keep in mind, everybody, I'm looking at my news page right now. So if you're making comments, I can't see you. Eric, if you're here, maybe you can answer these questions. And we're going to go through some news stories, funny news stories, and then get into a little bit of a topic talking about the best 30 horror movies of all time. I wanted to do something kind of special today for you know, the month of October and Halloween. So we're going to be talking about some of those. And I'd like to hear some of your favorite horror movies as we get into that as well. So did you see the picture of Joe Biden yesterday? Joe Biden got his booster shot apparently at the quote unquote White House. And I'm not sure if you've all seen the news stories and the pictures of Joe Biden, but literally it was a fake room. They made it look like it was the White House. It looked like he was getting his shot in the White House. And then someone panned out and took a picture of the entire set. And this was really like no different than like a movie set. It was crazy. So, I mean, this just shows, you know, how just over the top, out of touch Joe Biden and his people are. I mean, they've got this thing. They have to show us a fake White House. I mean, who knows where this room is? This room is probably in his assisted living facility or his nursing home where, you know, he's spending most of his time, and they probably wake him up in the morning, feed him his breakfast, give him a bath, and then change Joe's diaper, get him dressed, and send him off to the set so he can pretend like he's getting a shot. So I don't know, man. These type of things, you know, they drive me crazy. That was one of the things that we did not see under Trump, whether you like the guy or not. I mean, he was brutally honest. He said a lot of stupid things, but you knew what he said was what he was thinking, and you knew what he said was how he felt. And I hate it when I feel like I'm being handled. I'm not sure if anybody else feels that way, but kind of crazy. So again, I'm still on my news page. Can't see anybody. I'll be back and I'll read your comments in a few minutes. But did you see now? I mean, these protesters, these left-wing protesters, are going nuts. Did you see now there are protesters in California, not a big surprise, that are blocking the Golden Gate Bridge, demanding amnesty for illegal aliens in the reconciliation bill. So these people in California are blocking the Golden Gate Bridge, right? They're out there, they're protesting, and they're looking to demand amnesty. So all these illegal aliens that are pouring into the country just get, you know, ushered in. No background checks. They haven't gotten COVID, you know, shots. They aren't being required to wear masks. They're being sent to cities all over the country, and they're going to be on public assistance. So I don't know. You know, these things, you know, maybe I'm old. Maybe I'm an old curmudgeon and I just don't understand, you know, what these people are doing. But for me, I just look at it, and to me, it's just crazy. So, hey, Crazy Kane, welcome to the show. I'm back on my page for a second. So let's see. I see scrolling back up a little bit so I can see some of the comments. Victor, I see your comment saying your daughter just started college, $30,000 a year. You're happy she got scholarships. Absolutely. I mean, I've got 4 kids, and right now, all 4 of my kids are going to start hitting college. Now, my oldest son, Matt, as a lot of you know, is on the autism spectrum. So Matt has high functioning autism. He has OCD. He has Tourette's syndrome and ADHD. So he is attending a community college, a 2-year school. It's called Quinsigamond in Worcester, Massachusetts. And his old therapeutic high school started a dorm for kids on the autism spectrum where they actually help them with their schooling. They give them rides to work and rides to campus. And it's really a great organization. We've had people come from all over the country to actually go to this place, and we're lucky where it's literally like 20 minutes from our house. However, the problem for us is, and it's not a problem, I mean, we've saved money, but his community college, he's taken 3 classes, and I think it costs $3,000 for his classes, but the dorm itself is costing $11,600 per semester. So we're literally looking at $30,000 a year for a 2-year community college education. So as I've joked with friends, this is going to be the most expensive community college education in the history of the world. But it's worth it, and we're doing it for our kids. The ones that come after Matt are going to be tough because we have Caitlin, who's very smart, and we're hoping she gets some academic scholarships. She's a junior in high school right now, does homeschooling, and is averaging 98% in her junior year. And she's in 2 AP classes, just a brilliant, brilliant person. She wants to be a doctor like her mother. But we're hoping that she gets some type of scholarship money because she's kind of figured out what school she wants to go to. She wants to go to a medical school actually up in Maine. The same school that my wife went to, and it's located right near the coast, right near Kennebunkport in Maine, beautiful area. And she can actually start and do like a 7-year college and medical school program at this school. But I mean, that's going to be very expensive. And then we got Ethan, who's a good student. We're hoping he gets some money maybe for baseball. For those of you that are coming in right now, Ethan, my third, is a good baseball player, and he was invited for next weekend to go to Boston College for a mini showcase by the head coach of BC. So he's a freshman in high school, and he's already getting recruited. And I've been sharing a Twitter page we created for him. But he went out, and to give you an idea, I mean, I know I'm not going to make this a big baseball podcast, but for the people that are interested in my family, Ethan's 15 years old. He's 6 feet or 6'1", about 180 pounds. And the way they measure everything is they use metrics to measure the talent of these players to see if they have potential. So a very good major league player, like a Rafael Devers of the Boston Red Sox, his exit velocity when he hits a baseball is like mid hundreds, like 106, 107 miles an hour. And that's very, very good. So to give you an idea what that means, it's, once the pitcher throws the baseball and it hits the bat of the hitter and the ball comes off the bat, they measure the velocity, the speed in which that ball comes off the bat. So if you are, in the 80s, that's good. If you're in the 90s, you're considered to be like a college prospect or a college baseball player. And a lot of the players in the major leagues are up over 100 with their exit velocity. So Ethan has already, at the age of 14 and 15, been measured as high as 93 miles an hour with his exit velocity hitting the baseball. And he's a very good hitter. So some of the schools are starting to take notice. He wanted to, end up in Florida, going to the Florida Gators or something like that. But to get a school like Boston College to invite him to a mini camp, he's going to be there next Saturday. He has a camp with all the coaches so they can look at him. And then he gets a tour of the campus, and then ends up getting free tickets to the BC St. John's fall ball baseball game. So we're super proud of him. His dreams to play in the major leagues, and hopefully he ends up, fulfilling those dreams. So I'm scrolling down a little bit. I see Q Bella talking about dementia. Dementia, Joe, is awful. And I got to tell all of you, I've said this in the past. I think you were talking about the room that is just ridiculous. My father has dementia. My father is going to be 81 years old in a couple of weeks. He's got dementia. And honestly, I think my father speaks better than Joe Biden does. So there's no question the man has dementia. And I don't understand why they continue to leave him in this position. They really should move him out of the White House and move somebody else in, whether it's, Camel Toe or whoever. I mean, I think almost anybody could be better than Biden at this point. But, they kind of like having him there. They like having him in this position because, he is not putting up any resistance, and they're running their agendas behind his back. So let's see. So a couple more news stories. I don't have a lot of time today because, as I mentioned, I've got a dentist appointment, so I'm not going to take any calls today. It's just going to be a quick, probably 45-minute show. But let's see, I'm looking at some other news stories. Looks like Dr. Fauci, our old friend, Lord Fauci, the end all be all of what all of us believe, right? Where we all need to fall down and kneel and bend the knee for Lord Fauci. Well, he's stunned when he was told Americans may not be taking the vaccine because of him. Dr. Fauci, what do you mean? Come on, you jackass. You don't get it. You don't get that none of us trust you. You don't get that we saw you give an interview on 60 Minutes where you told everybody point blank that masks don't do any good. You said it point blank. And you don't think that we feel that you are in the pocket of Wuhan, the Wuhan lab that created the coronavirus. You had donated money to them, and you're surprised that the American people don't trust you. Dude, wake up. The American people are not as stupid as you think they are. And I think people across this country, because of, platforms like podcasts and platforms like, TikTok and social media, the ones that don't ban people from exercising their free speech, are speaking and realizing that a lot of this stuff we're being fed is just absolute garbage. So, Dr. Fauci, I'm sorry that you feel it's disappointing that none of us trust you, that none of us believe in you. But you know what, dude? You've brought this on yourself. You have earned no trust. And even though I've taken the vaccine, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. A lot of people don't trust you. And most people, in my opinion, do not trust Dementia Joe also, and the whole cast of characters right now that have taken up residence in the White House, right? So you're right. We've got this virus because of him. Because of him. He is the problem. He created this. He created this problem. And now he's got the vaccine to help us all. Thank you, Joe. And that's why the U.S. isn't going after China, because they know we had a hand in this whole thing. So kind of crazy. So I said, I've got a couple of funny stories I'm going to read to, and then I'm going to get into a list. And I want all of you to participate if you could. If you're new in here, please follow my show. If you've been here before, please share my live. It helps me get engagement points, and I would greatly appreciate this. But now, kind of some of the funny news stories I've seen right now. This one kind of gets me kind of funny. A neighbor is stunned, or a kid or a family is stunned after a neighbor calls the police because they were outside having weekly Nerf gun fights. Can you believe this crap? I mean, what type of crazy world are we living in now where you can't even go outside with your Nerf guns and try to have like a fight? Like, when I was a kid, you'd go outside, we'd play, whatever, bad guy, good guy, cops and robbers. We'd go out there with fake guns. We'd have toy guns. We'd be shooting each other, using our imagination, running around, having a good time. And it was funny when I actually watched, what was it? The remake of It, with Pennywise, the Stephen King movie. They had at one point when the bully was going after the young kids, they ended up having like a rock fight in the middle of the movie. Honest to God, in New Hampshire growing up, we had rock fights all the time. Now, I don't know if any of my Maine brothers or anybody else in here has ever had a rock fight, but we used to limit it to relatively small rocks. Like they had to be small. And like one person, I lived on a road that had like no cars going up and down it. So one person would stand on the other side of the street, and then the other person would be, on the other side, obviously across from that person on either side of the street. And you would literally whip rocks at each other, and it would be like a war. And we wanted it to hurt because that would simulate being in a war a little bit more, where if you got hit with a little rock, you'd be like, damn it. Almost like paintball back in the day, but we used rocks. So, back in the day, we were outside using our imaginations, having fun. And this poor kid's outside trying to have a damn Nerf gun fight with his friends. And you got some Karen or some Kevin or some jackass out there calling, the police on something like this. And to me, it's just absolutely stupid. So you would think that people, maybe have some common sense out there, but I don't know. I'm just not seeing it. So now this is one, and this doesn't surprise me because thanks to Cummings, I went out and bought some Dogecoin, and I've got quite a bit of money in Dogecoin right now. So I'm hoping that it goes up so I can maybe make a little bit of money. I haven't really lost any money yet. And I know that I bought it too late. Like my son, Ethan, and Cummings told me back in the fall to buy Dogecoin, and I didn't wait, or I didn't buy it then when I could have got it for pennies on the dollar. And I think I bought around 20 cents a share. So I have a lot of it, but we'll see if it goes up or not. But here, this proves that I have no skill whatsoever in investing. Like my strategy has always been buy high and sell low. It's supposed to be the opposite, buy low and sell high, but I always buy high and then I sell low and I lose my fucking money. And that's unfortunately the type of investor that I am. But here, this story, a crypto trading hamster performs better than Warren Buffett in the S&P 500. Now, I got to read this story. How the fuck is this possible? This has got to be some gimmick, but let's see. So, okay, I'm looking I'm looking at a picture. He's actually got an intention wheel in his cage, and it's hooked up to a computer. And apparently, by the number of, I guess, rotations he runs, it determines whether they buy and they sell the cryptocurrency. So unbelievable, this setup that you're looking at in his cage. So ready, here you go. Here's the story. This is pretty funny. And this shows that, again, I have the brain of a hamster. My wife's been telling me that for years. And God knows that she's right. She's right about everything. So what if we told you there was a hamster who had also been trading cryptocurrency since June and recently was doing better than Warren Buffett and the S&P 500? Meet Mr. Gox. And I've got to say it, that rhymes with Cox. I'm like a 10-year-old child, so I had to, throw that out there. But anyway, so Mr. Gox, or as I call him, Mr. Cox, a hamster who works out of what is possibly the most high-tech hamster cage in its existence. You got to see this thing. This thing's like out of some movie from the future. It's ridiculous. But it's designed so that Mr. Gox runs on the hamster wheel. He can select among dozens of cryptocurrencies, then deciding between two tunnels, he chooses whether to buy or sell. According to the Twitch account for the hamster, his decision is sent over to a real trading platform, and yes, real money is involved. So they're saying, look, we're not telling you to follow in this hamster's financial decisions or that this process is scientific in any way. The human behind the hamster's account and money has not yet been made public. But what we can tell you is that his portfolio is nearly up 20% since he started trading in June, according to his Twitter account. So this fucking rat has a Twitter account, Mr. Gox or Mr. Cox or whatever his name is. I'm going to be following him by the end of the day. And as of September 22nd, Mr. Gox was performing better than Bitcoin, the NASDAQ 100, and Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway and the S&P 500. So applause to Mr. Gox. You're obviously a financial genius. I had a hamster when I was a kid, and he didn't make me any money at all. He bit me when I tried to clean his cage. That was pretty much about it. So anyway, I'm looking back at the chat. I was on the news page, and I want to kind of read what some of you all are saying when I'm in here. Let's see. Okay, nothing too earth-shattering. I see my buddy Q Bella is here, that beautiful woman that I've told you all about. Now listen, all right, I've got to go into this now. All right. We've got Q Bella in the room right now. All right. Take a look at the picture. She's a beautiful woman. No doubt about it. Right. As far as I know, unless something has changed, she is still a single, young, available woman. Men, what the hell are you doing? Look, take a look. Take a look. She's beautiful. She's smart. She's got her own podcast. She's an independent woman. Get off your asses and go find Q Bella. All right. Now, I know Q Bella doesn't need a man or a significant other to make her happy, but for crying out loud, you're kind of all pissing me off. I'm a married man of 20 years now. And if it were me, I would not allow a beautiful young woman to remain on the market like Q Bella. So for those of you out there, whether you are in my live right now, if you listen to my show on podcast, for the men out there, stop being pussies. Go out. Ask women out. If you're gay, ask a man out. Go for it. But again, you've got some beautiful women out there that are available, and I just don't understand. So anyway, so she's blushing, and see, she's a good person. So get the hell out there. Q Bella's available, and you gotta go for it. Stop being pussies. That's all I'm saying. All right, all of you, pussies. All right. So again, like I said, kind of a short show today because I have to go to the dentist, unfortunately, and I fucking hate going to the dentist. I'm sure everyone can relate to that. I did find actually a good dentist that I'm kind of happy with because my dental insurance changed from my previous company to the company I'm with now. I couldn't go to my old dentist. And fortunately, I found this dental office in the city of Worcester, Grace Family Dental. And no, I'm not being paid for this, but they are amazing. If you happen to live in the Worcester area and you haven't checked out Grace Family Dental, if you're looking for a good dentist, you come in, they treat you well, they're very accommodating. They love people who are afraid of dentists, like basically cowards like myself who hate going to the dentist, and a very painless exam and really a good place. Like we switched my whole family over, and we are very, very happy at Grace Family Dental. So if you're in Worcester and you're looking for a dentist, I highly recommend them. They're really, really good. So, all right, hey, listen. It is the month of October. And as all of you know, I love October. I love horror movies, and I am just a huge fan. So let's play a little scary music. Hopefully you can all hear that. Hopefully I have the right buttons pressed. If not, there's no music and I look like a jackass. But anyway, as you all know, coming up very shortly, I'm going to be recording a number of different podcasts about the most infamous serial killers in the history of the world. And I'm going to be probably releasing some of those maybe over the weekend. I haven't definitively decided if I'm going to do them live or if I'm going to just record them. What I may do is I may record them live, but not take phone calls during those shows. Because when I take calls, that tends to help, cause me to lose my focus a little bit. So I'm over on this page. And as I am talking, I would love to hear some of your impressions on what some of your favorite scary movies are. Do you like scary movies? Do you have a particular author or movie franchise that you really like? I'm going to run down this list of the top 30. I'm going to go through it relatively quickly, maybe with a little bit of talk, and then I'm going to come back to your list and see what some of you all like. But I fucking love Halloween. I know that not everybody does. I love the month of October. January and February fucking suck. I could do without those, but October is one that I definitely love. So, all right, number 30 on this list, the 30 best horror movies of all time. Never heard of this one. I may have to watch it. It's called Host, and it's from 2020. So apparently in this movie, we all knew it was on the way, but post-pandemic horror has already arrived in the shape of a Zoom call gone very wrong. Already sounds stupid to me. But desperately on the hunt for something to do other than the endless lockdown quizzes, we feel this. A group of friends get together for an online mid-lockdown seance. What follows is a short snap shark of found footage, adrenaline, and an intimidatingly lean 56-minute runtime, or at least it's short, so if it sucks, it isn't long. Host isn't the first horror to take place on a computer screen, taking terrifying inspiration from Wreck, the Blair Witch Project, which I fucking hated, and Paranormal Activity. So, you know what? I'm not going to read any more about that one. That one sounds stupid. I think my daughter's book sounds better than that. Number 29, I will agree with this one. The original Saw movie. The first time I saw Saw, it's more of like a hacker movie, but it's a psychological thriller. I found this movie to be so disgusting that I couldn't even really stay and watch it. It really freaked me out. The Saw movies, I still don't like the Saw movies because they are scary, and I do give them credit for that. And I like what they say down in the description. They basically call this series torture porn. So I think that's probably pretty fair. They're just torture, movies, and I'm not a huge fan of those, but I will give them credit that they are scary. So number 28 on the list, and I got to preface this where my daughter and I are both big horror movie fans, and we decided that this fall we're going to go back in time a little bit and do like a Hitchcock marathon of movies. So we started watching a few Hitchcock movies. We watched Vertigo. We've seen The Birds. What was the other one? We've seen Psycho, obviously, like a million times. But number 28 on the list is from 1963, and it's a Hitchcock thriller called The Birds. Now, if you haven't seen this, it's a decent movie. It was scary back in the day, and you kind of have to go into it with your expectations kind of set for 1963. But honestly, it's not a bad movie. I mean, some of the graphics kind of suck, but considering at the time they didn't have computers, it's kind of cool they did some of the things that they did. So I would say The Birds is something I did enjoy. Is it terrifying? Does it compare to some of the movies we have out today? No. But if you're looking for an older horror movie that you haven't seen, I would recommend checking out The Birds by Hitchcock. It's a pretty good movie. So let's see. Dawn of the Dead from 1978. If you're into zombies, this was a classic. I've seen this. I actually really liked the remake of Dawn of the Dead that came out a few years ago with Ving Rhames. I thought that was pretty scary. But Dawn of the Dead, the original, was from 1978. And if you like zombie movies, go for it. It's a classic. And if you haven't seen it, it was done by Romero. You got to get out and check that out. This one here I have seen also. So number 26 is Shaun of the Dead. Again, back on the zombie topic from 2004. I remember I kind of reluctantly watched this and actually surprisingly liked it. So if you're looking for a horror movie that you haven't seen, and this one could be on that list of movies you haven't seen, I would recommend checking out Shaun of the Dead. All right, from 1984, number 25 on the list. This is a classic. This is how fucking old I am. I saw this at the movie theater with my buddy Bob Coe. We played high school football together. He was 6'5", 295 pounds in high school. I was 6'4", 240 pounds in high school, and we went to this movie together. And I ended up sleeping over his house that night at his parents' house, and we ended up being terrified that night in his house after seeing this movie. The original Nightmare on Elm Street, great movie. I don't know. I mean, the acting wasn't all great, but it was just a classic. I think it might have been Johnny Depp's first movie. He was actually killed in this movie in a pretty graphic way. I imagine most of you have probably seen the original Nightmare on Elm Street, but if you haven't, you got to get out there and check it out. Great movie, and you have to watch the uncut version. You'll rent it on Netflix or wherever, so you don't have to see all the stupid cuts and commercials and all that shit. All right, so number 24. Bruce Campbell starred in The Evil Dead 2. Now, I love Bruce Campbell. I don't know if any of you guys know him, but he was in, what was that movie? Army of Darkness, I think it was, where he's absolutely hysterical in that movie. But Evil Dead 2, great movie. Again, pretty scary, and one that I've definitely seen. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. So I'm going quickly through this list. I want to get back in to speak to all of you very shortly, and I'd like to hear maybe some of the movies you all like. Number 23, I'm going to skip over this. I've never seen it. It's called The Babadook from 2014. It says it's scary, but honestly, just looking at the picture, I don't have much interest in that one. Number 22 on the list, The Cabin in the Woods from 2011. I did see this, and it was good. There were several different versions of this, and this is one that I really did like. And if you like movies like, say, like Scream and Final Destination, this is something you would probably like. So I would check out Cabin in the Woods if you have not seen it. Number 21, now this is kind of crazy. Number 21 came out in 2018. I did not like the original. I went to the original. I was annoyed that it was quiet in the theater the whole time. I did not like it at all. But number 21 is A Quiet Place from 2018. And one of the only reasons I went in that was because of Emily Blunt, along with Scarlett Johansson and Jessica Chastain. She is without question one of my celebrity crushes. She is an absolute gorgeous knockout. And my wife knows it. My wife knows I would leave her. And for Emily Blunt in a second, I would step over her dead body to get to Emily Blunt, and she knows it. So, and she's okay with it because she has Ryan Reynolds on her list. And I know she would stab me and step over my dead body to get to Ryan Reynolds, and quite frankly, I wouldn't blame her. But anyway, I did not like the original Quiet Place. Quiet Place 2, I thought was awesome. I went when I was in New York with my daughter. We were there over Memorial Day weekend. It rained all weekend, so my boys couldn't play baseball. So we ended up going to a movie, and it was really good. So for me, Quiet Place 2 was better than the original Quiet Place 1. And again, thank God, Emily Blunt was in it. Oh, I got to take a cold shower after this. So anyway, number 20 on the list, Paranormal Activity from 2007. I love these series, and they keep referring to the Blair Witch Project in all the descriptions. Let me say, if the Blair Witch Project is on this list, I'm going to completely throw my computer out the window, because the Blair Witch Project, in my opinion, was literally the stupidest horror movie I've ever seen. It wasn't scary. It wasn't original. I despised everything about that movie, to the point where I literally watched it like 10 years after I originally saw it in the movie theater, and I hated it just as much. I figured, okay, maybe I was closed-minded. Maybe I didn't get it. The Blair Witch Project sucked, and if it's on the list, just get ready for the vomit noise and everything else I'm going to throw at you. But number 20 on the list was Paranormal Activity, and I did like that. Number 19, never heard of it, from 1977, called Suspiria. Let's see, less a movie and more an assault on your senses, not to mention your stomach. So apparently, Susie arrives at a former ballet school. Unfortunately, she does not heed the warning of the girl running in the other direction and finds herself surrounded by horrific murder as young women are picked off artfully one by one. I may have to see this, but again, this is one of those ones that Scream would take up. I mean, if you're fucking arriving at a ballet school, right, and you have people like running by you screaming, is this the place you're going to go in? I mean, are you going to go into this place, or are you going to hightail it the fuck out of there? So again, kind of funny, but that looks like that might be one that I could possibly enjoy. So we will see. Another one I haven't heard, number 18, The Descent from 2005. I'm not even going to bother reading this one. It doesn't look interesting to me, so I'm moving on. Number 17, It Follows. Again, another one I haven't seen. I need Sinister Breed on with me. He's like the horror movie expert. I've never heard of It Follows from 2015, but apparently this is about an infection in horror movies is spread in many ways. A bite here, an injection of transformational virus there. Hell, we're even watching a videotape and have ghosts in real need. So it seems like this movie is kind of like a hodgepodge of how people get infected with evil. So I don't know. I don't know if that's one that I'm going to take a look at. All right, number 16, I do not like, An American Werewolf in London. I saw that, just didn't do it for me. This was in kind of that funky phase in like the 1980s where, if you saw the Thriller video, they were able to like morph creatures into like, from man to like creature. And every movie had like a 10-minute, change from a person into like a werewolf, like the movie Silver Bullet. And what was the other movie? The movie with the vampires. I can't think of the name of it, but I love that movie. But this is one of those ones too where they had constant just transformations from person into werewolf, and just didn't do it for me. So that one does not make my list of the top 20. Another one that I don't know. What the fuck, man? I feel like I'm kind of sleeping. I'm going to have to get up on some of these horror movies. Now, this one is called Wreck, number 15 on the list from 2007. First off, we're going to pretend that the English language remake, Quarantine, doesn't exist. Good. But apparently this is another one about a pandemic. And it looks like it's decent. I'm kind of reading some of the information down below about it. And I guess it has a lot of good horror movie footage, pretty scary, women behaving strangely. And I will say that the picture alone, now, are men visual creatures? Yes, we are. But when you look at the picture of Wreck, there's a young woman in her white tank top. She's all sweaty. Her hair's messy. And yes, you can see the nipples. So for me right away, bang, I'm interested. The Wreck looks like something I could embrace. When you show a girl who is sweating in her wet t-shirt, even though there's a little blood on the t-shirt, her hair is like all wet, and you can see the nips, I'm in. So she had me at hello with that picture with the Wreck. Oh, here it is. All right, hold on. I got to find my noise here. God damn it. I knew this would be on the list, and it doesn't belong here at all. So let me find the proper noise. Here we go. Here it is. There it is. Number 14. Yeah, this is what I think of you. The Blair Witch Project from 1999. The worst fucking movie I have ever seen. And if there's anyone in there that disagrees with me, I can't see you right now because I'm reading this list. But my God, I hated this movie. So let's read the description. I'm going to read this whole description one more time. Fuck you, Blair Witch Project. But anyway, ever wondered why no one's out camping in the woods these days? Well, I fucking camp all the time. It's not that millennials really need to be within 100 feet of a charging point at all times. It's just the fact that a full generation of us saw the Blair Witch Project in our early teens, and we really like to sleep inside now. This now almost mythical found footage, which was bullshit, horror follows three young documentary makers as they journey into Burkittsville in Maryland. Heather, Mike, and Josh start off interviewing the locals about the local legend of the Blair Witch, a particular nasty tale you'd hope was just out to keep children from eating their vegetables before heading into the woods where the witch apparently resides, given that it's all it's ever they found in these tapes. That's not exactly a happy ending. So basically, it's nothing but these people running around in the woods, bouncing their camera around, crying that they're scared, and you never really see anything scary. So I'm moving forward, and I'm giving them another vomit. This movie gets 3 vomits as far as I go because the movie just sucks. All right, number 13. Now, again, they're kind of getting me with this one. When I look at number 13, this is apparently a New England folktale. I've never seen this one either, called The Witch from 2015. And they have a very attractive young woman, blonde, in the promotional picture. So this is one that I will have to put on my list because I am a shallow, superficial man that likes beautiful women. And I'm proud to admit that I am. But it looks like this is self-described as a New England folktale, although it is more like a fairy tale from hell. Robert Eggers' terrifying period drama follows a Puritan family after they're ejected from their colony. Screaming "Don't do it" at the screen just don't work, as William takes his wife, Catherine, and his 5 children into the deep, dark woods to survive alone on a farm. It's not spoiling anything to say that it doesn't go particularly well. Following Thomaston, the eldest daughter of the family, played by Anna Taylor-Joy, and that must be her in the picture, it's her first credited role, so that's kind of cool. We witness the tense unraveling of a dysfunctional family faced with the horrific prospect of an outside force staring out at them from the trees. I like the sound of this one. I think I'm going to watch this one. So that one is number 13 on the list, called The Witch from 2015. So that's going to make my list. I'm going to check that one out. That sounds pretty good, actually. So going forward. Now this is the original, apparently. I don't know if anyone's seen The Wicker Man from 1973. I've never seen the original, but I did see the remake with Nicolas Cage, and I actually thought that was pretty good. So The Wicker Man from 1973 was a good one, and I've got that on my list. But I preferred the remake. And I've got to buzz through these last 10 because I literally have to get to the dentist. Number 11 is Get Out from 2017. I have never seen that film. Number 10, 28 Days Later from 2002, another one that I haven't seen, but it's apparently a zombie movie. Now, this one here, I think should be higher on the list. Number 9, Scream. How could Scream be number 9? In my opinion, the original Scream is one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. When you watch it for the first time, it's very difficult to predict the twist that's coming, and I think that this would be literally in my top 5. Scream is phenomenal. If you haven't seen that from 1996, you need to see it. Number 8 is Alien from 1979. I didn't like that movie at all, and I think it's probably because I'm not a big fan of Sigourney Weaver, but I definitely would have Scream ahead of Alien on my list. I am sorry I'm going quick here, but I got to get it out because I realize I'm late. Number 7 is Jaws. That would definitely be right at the top of my list from 1975. Not just the drama of the shark attacking and killing people, but the acting in this movie was amazing. You had a cast of amazing actors, nothing like, the scene of Quint and Richard Dreyfuss comparing their scars from sharks inside the boat as they're drinking and they're singing together, and then all of a sudden the shark starts attacking. I love Jaws. That would probably be in my top 5. Number 6 is the original Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis, right at the top of my list. Phenomenal movie. All the other Halloweens that came after this really pale in comparison by the original. It was more of a psychological thriller and just an amazing movie. I can still watch that today and get creeped out, even though there really aren't that many graphic kill scenes in that movie. But the original Halloween from 1978 is amazing. Number 5 on the list, how can this not be there? The Exorcist from 1973. Linda Blair, I met her in person, and she was flirting with me. She was older, and I think I could have slept with Linda Blair when I was young and single. But of course, I thought about it, and if I had gone after her, could you imagine having sex with Linda Blair if she started doing like the Exorcist voice, like during the middle of the encounter? That would have been terrifying. So anyway, I did meet Linda Blair, very nice person, and I'm telling you, man, I was young and handsome. She was flirting with me like you wouldn't believe. And I really thought about it, but I couldn't risk her head spinning around in the middle of it, even if it was for a good reason. So no, thank you. But as far as movie go, excellent movie. Number 4, Hereditary. Never heard of it, from 2018. This looks pretty scary. Home is where the heart is. It's also where the worst horrors live. Hiding just beneath the surface of the perfect family, a harrowed Toni Collette leads Ari Aster's very first feature film as the mother of a grieving family. The death of her own mother has sent shockwaves through her home, and they're not revealing any spoilers, but apparently this is very scary. So that might be one to check out. Heredity. The Thing from 1982. Sorry, that doesn't make my list at all, especially in the top 5. Nope, and nope. No, I'm moving right past that one. Number 2, absolute classic. I don't know if I'd have it as number 2, but the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. All I can say about that movie is an absolutely fucked up movie, and it was based on a true story. So that's all you need to know. If you haven't seen the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, rent it this weekend. You got to see it. It's just a fucked up movie from 1974. And finally, since I'm under the gun and I've got to go, number 1, of course, my favorite. I don't know if I'd have it number 1 on the list, but The Shining from 1980, a Stephen King classic with Jack Nicholson. One of the scariest, fucked up movies I've ever seen. And I think what makes it real is a person going crazy and attacking his family, like Jack Nicholson did in this film. So that's my list of the top 30 horror movies from all time. I'm sorry that I can't check the chat. I've got to go. I'm very late. I hope you all enjoyed my show today, and I will be back with another live over the weekend where I will take phone calls. So everybody, thank you so much for coming into my show. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will be back soon. All right. And there we go. All right, everybody, take care. Love you all. Candles and romantic movies. Only for you, Mike from Tampa Bay. I'm going to romance you, my friend. But I'm telling you, if I'm putting out candles and making a movie for you, you better be ready to put out. That's all I'm saying. All right? Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. Love you all.